In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build muscle, improve your strength, and protect your joints in time-efficient workouts. I have a career job as a power engineer. I run an online coaching business as well, a toddler at home, a wife at home. So my plate is full, just like you. So I can't be in the gym for 90-minute, 2-hour sessions. I need something that gets the job done quickly and that I enjoy. This photo here on the left, this was 6 months after back surgery. And the photo on the right, this is a recent photo a couple of weeks ago. The time frame between the two is about 2.5 years. All right, I had literally had to forge my body, rebuild my body from the ground up. And with this training method that I will break down in a simple formula for you to apply in your next workout, you can achieve these results as well. So I'm going to take you through step by step one of my workouts in an ABCD formula fashion so that you could literally apply this into your next workout. Now, before any workout, you cannot just come from the desk, sitting all day and jumping into the weights and pressing them. That's how you're going to get hurt. So you start off with a 5 to 10 minute cardio warm-up. That could be on the bike, that could be on the elliptical, treadmill, it doesn't matter, but you want to get your heart rate up. You want to get your blood flow moving and you get that body temperature increased. This also gives us busy guys a time to reframe our mindset and be like, okay, this is my time, this is daddy's time to get a workout in to improve my health. After that, you want to move into some sort of a dynamic warm-up. That means you're using a little bit of resistance. You're going through the motions of just getting your muscles fired up, your stabilizers, tiny muscles to protect your joints, ready to go so you don't get hurt throughout the workout. Spend 3 to 5 minutes here as well. And now we're ready to hop into the first circuit. Now, I call this the forge method because I literally had to forge my body after back surgery, but it's broken down into a simple A, B, C, D that you can repeat. This is step A, which is the most compound exercise of that workout. And for some context, compound exercises are movements that utilize more than one muscle group at the same time. When you're doing a chest press, you're not just working your chest, you're working your arms, you're working your back, you're working your shoulders. When you're doing a squat, you're not just working your quads, you're working your glutes, your hammies, your lower back, your calves. Everything is involved with these compound exercises. So step A is the most compound exercise of the workout. Step 2 is the B of the formula. This is where we start working opposing muscle groups. So we're supersetting a chest press with a back row. So as soon as you finish the chest press, you move directly into that row. It could be a dumbbell row, it could be a barbell row, a machine row, a seated cable row. The idea here is that you are balancing out the body with a push and a pull. When we get older, we need to be very careful with our joints. If you do too much pressing, you're going to start impinging on your shoulders, and that's going to lead to an achy shoulder. And how I manage to alleviate this is incorporating opposing muscle groups so my body always stays balanced. That's the strategic purpose behind the selection of that exercise. So B is the opposing muscle group. Now we get to step 3, which is C of the formula. This is where specialization kicks in. This is where 20 years of personal training experience, my background in human kinetics come together, and my own sweat and time rebuilding my body after surgery shapes this workout. C is for the active recovery of the portion. And what I mean by active recovery is this is where we take time to prehab, not rehab, prehab, so that we don't ever need rehab. That's the key here. And the exercise selection here is important. If it's an upper body workout, for example, we want to select exercises that are going to fire up the stabilizers to protect our joint. Right? Like I was saying, those tiny muscle groups that protect the shoulder and the rotator cuff. That's what these shoulder dislocates are helping me do. Once you finish 15 to 20 reps of this, then you can move on to step 4, which is D of the formula. Now, when we get to this point of the workout, there's something that we need to take a step back and understand. All right? And a lot of you guys, I think, miss this point is there's strength training and there's hypertrophy training. The difference is when you're focused on hypertrophy training, that simply means you're trying to build muscle. Like you want to fill out your shirt. You want your biceps to actually get physically bigger. When you're focused on strength training, all you care about is how much weight you're pushing. All right? And the training programs behind both of these can be very different. So it's important for you to know what your goal is when you're going into this program, when you're going into these workouts. Am I going in because I want to build muscle, or am I going in because I want to increase strength? How I do it is I do it in phases. I'll take one phase where I'm really focused on building muscle size, and then I'll move into a phase where I just want to start increasing my strength, and I'm focused on increasing the strength. And with this ABCD formula, I can rearrange it in a way that allows me to achieve either strength training or building muscle or meeting myself down in the middle in very time efficient workouts. And that shapes your exercise selections for C and D. For example, in this phase, you can tell when I'm doing dumbbell presses of 130s, I'm focused on strength training. So the exercise selection for D is focused on a priming movement. So this gets me ready for the chest press, but keeps my stabilizers alive and fired up so that my technique is not jeopardized and my joints are not jeopardized when I'm actually pressing those dumbbells up. Now that was a chest and back workout. I'm going to show you another workout that I did for the lower body and how you can simply apply this same formula to any workout, and how it gives you so much versatility. So here we go. This is a compound movement, dumbbell lunges. And now you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's not an opposing muscle group. This is where the versatility and the purpose behind the workouts and your goals comes into place. After dumbbell lunges, you are going to be completely winded. To move directly into an opposing compound muscle group will be very taxing on the body. So we simply shift the C, the active recovery, just before the B. Stay with me now. So now I'm working on my athleticism. I'm working on that core training with these trunk twists. And then I can move into that B with that compound movement of extensions. Then we move into step 4, which is the D. Notice that these reverse crunches focus on a decompression movement, when just before it, I was doing some extension for the lower body. Now you might be thinking, I'm going to be so winded when I train like this, working these circuits together, going from one exercise to the other. And that is the point. That is one of our objectives. We want to improve our cardiovascular ability. We want to improve our stamina. That has a direct relation with our longevity. And as we're getting older, we're feeling more and more winded just going up the stairs, carrying the kids, carrying the groceries. And we don't want that. So at the same time, training like this, not only are you either building muscle or improving your strength and protecting your joints, but you're improving your cardiovascular ability, your VO2 Max, which is just a fancy way of saying how efficient your body is at utilizing oxygen and moving that around your body with your lungs and your heart. The more times you train like this, you are going to notice your cardiovascular system is going to improve in such a short period of time, which will have a direct relation with how much intensity you can bring to each workout. Now, there is one variability here that I have not mentioned just yet, and that is your rest times. After you finish the A, B, C, D portion of this, depending on what you're focusing on, whether that's strength or building muscle, this is where you can apply a rest period of 30 to 90 seconds additional to the circuit you just finished. And that's where I'm talking about where your stamina improves. That rest time at the end, you might not need it. And also, it might not apply when you're actually trying to build muscle. You'll already have that rest time integrated into the workout. Because, for example, after you finish your chest press and you move directly into the rows, this active recovery, step C, step 3, gives you a chance to catch your breath because you're not using a lot of weight here, right? This is minimal resistance, just enough to fire up your stabilizers. So C and D give you a chance to catch your breath anyway. And by the time you get to D, take a look at that red circle, 3:17, that's 3 minutes and 17 seconds. So as soon as I finish my first compound lift, that timer goes on. And you can see that rest period, that's 3 minutes before I get back to actually hitting the chest again, which is enough time to give the muscles a chance to recover. The only limiting factor at this point will be your heart rate and your breathing, which will again improve the more times you do this. Now, something super important that we haven't talked about is enjoyment. One of the reasons I train like this is because I enjoy it. Yes, it helps me get the results that I'm looking for, but at the same time, I look forward to these workouts. I'm not saying this is the only way or the best way of training, but this is a method. This Forge method, ABCD formula, is a training system that I look forward to. It has the intensity. I enjoy it. It might be hard sometimes getting myself into the gym, but once I do this workout, I feel great. I go home in a better mood. And I think that's something so important that's not being talked about enough. You need to enjoy your workouts. You need to find a training system that you look forward to doing because it brings you excitement. Guys, I hope you got a ton of benefit from this breakdown, and I challenge you to apply this to your next workout. And if you did benefit from this in any way, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment below more if you want to see more of these videos. Otherwise, I don't know if this is helping or not. And I'll see you in the next one.